Welcome to the chessboard. Like and subscribe to enjoy even more games. Pawn to e4 is the best move.
Knight to f6.
I played pawn to c4 to challenge black's control of the center and prepared to develop my pieces. This move also pins black's knight on f6, putting pressure on the pawn to d5 square.
Pawn to e6 is the best move.
Knight to f3.
This is a book move. The opening is called Bogo-Indian Defense.
Bishop to d2.
Pawn to a5.
Pawn to a3 is the best move.
Pawn to d6.
Bishop to g2 is the best move.
Developing the knight to a strong central square, preparing to control the pawn to d5 square and potentially putting pressure on black's position.
Kingside castle is excellent. Bishop to c3 is best. This offers a trade.
Pawn to e5.
Pawn captures on e5 is good. This is a trade. This attacks the knight. Knight to c3 is best. This offers a trade. This develops the knight.
Pawn captures on e5 is good. This is a trade. Knight captures on e5 is best. This attacks the pawn.
Knight to c3.
Pawn to c6 is excellent. Kingside castle is best.
Queen to c2 is excellent. This defends a pawn on b12. Pawn to f3 is best. This attacks the bishop. This move gains the tempo.
Queen to e7.
Rook from file f to d1 is good. By placing the rook on an open file, it controls important columns. Pawn to a3 is best. This attacks the bishop.
Kingside castle is best.
Pawn to a3 is good. This attacks the bishop. Knight to h4 is best.
Bishop captures on c3.
Bishop captures on c3.
Pawn to a4.
Pawn to e3 is good. Bishop to b4 is best. This attacks the queen.
Queen to e6 is the best move.
Knight to g5.
Pawn to h6 is best. This attacks the knight. This move gains a tempo.
Attacking the kingside pawn structure, knight to e4 pins the knight on g7, preparing to develop the rest of the pieces and potentially creating a weakness on the kingside.
Knight captures on e4 is best. This is a trade.
I played bishop captures on e4 to challenge Sergey's pawn structure and create a potential weakness on the kingside. The move also pins Sergey's knight, forcing him to respond to the potential threat. This move aims to gain a strategic advantage and create counterplay in the queenside.
Developing the knight to a strong central square, preparing to control the pawn to d5 square and potentially attacking the white pawn on d4.
Bishop to g2 is a solid move, developing the bishop and putting pressure on black's position. It also prepares to potentially play d3, supporting the central pawn and controlling the pawn to d5 square.
I played bishop to g4 to attack Sergey's pawn on f5, creating a potential pin on his knight on f6. This move also prepares to develop the rest of my pieces and control the center of the board.
Rook to e1.
Queen to e6 pins the black knight on f6, preparing to develop the rest of the queenside pieces and putting pressure on the pawn to d5 pawn. This move also supports the central pawn structure and prepares to potentially launch a queenside attack.
I played bishop to b4 to put pressure on black's position and prepare to develop other pieces. The pin on black's knight on pawn to f6 is also a consideration, as it could potentially be used to attack black's pawn structure.
Pawn to c5 is inaccuracy. This move leaves pawn hanging on b7. The opponent can play bc3. Pawn to e4 is best.
Bishop captures on c5.
Rook from file e to c8 is good. This attacks the bishop. Pawn to e4 is best.
Bishop to b4.
Rook captures on c4 is best. This attacks the queen.
Queen to d3 is best.
Pawn to e4 is best. This attacks the queen. This move gains a tempo.
Queen to d6.
Queen captures on d6 is excellent. This is a trade. Queen to c8 is best. This defends a pawn, and rook on b7 and e8.
Bishop captures on d6.
Rook from file to c8 is the best move.
Bishop to e5 is best. This defends a pawn on b12.
Knight to d7 is excellent. This attacks the bishop. Bishop to f3 is best. This offers a trade.
Bishop to d4 is the best move.
Knight to c5.
Rook from file to c1 is good. This offers a trade. This attacks the rook. This develops a rook. Bishop captures on c5 is best. This is a trade.
Knight to d3.
I played rook captures on c4 to gain a small material advantage and open up the c-file for my rook to potentially use later. This move also slightly weakens black's pawn structure on the queen side, but I believe the potential benefits outweigh the costs.
I played rook captures on c4 to gain a small material advantage and open up the c-file for my rook to potentially use later. This move also slightly weakens black's pawn structure on the queen side, but I believe the potential benefits outweigh the costs.
Rook to b1.
Pawn to f5 is best. This defends a pawn and bishop on f0 and g4.
I played pawn to h3 to challenge black's kingside pawn structure and prepare for potential kingside expansion. The move also pins black's knight on f6, making it harder for them to develop their pieces.
Bishop to e2 is good. Bishop to f3 is best. This offers a trade.
Bishop to c3 is good. Pawn to g4 is best. This offers a trade. This attacks a pawn.
Pawn to b5 is good. This defends a rook on c4. Pawn to g5 is best.
Bishop to f1 is best. This offers a trade. This attacks the bishop.
Bishop captures on f1 is good. This is a trade. Bishop to f3 is best.
King catches on f1 is the best move.
I played pawn to b4 to challenge black's pawn structure and create space for my pieces to develop. The pin on black's knight on pawn to f6 and the potential fork on the f-file make it a strong move, forcing black to respond and potentially weakening the pawn chain. The game is over. It ended in a draw.